How's it going? This is Eno, and welcome to my video comparison of the Smith & Wesson M&P9 versus the Springfield XDM9. Both of these are 9mm guns. In this video I want to give you kind of my opinions, overviews, impressions of owning and firing these two guns. I have some features I like about one versus the other and vice versa. But the first disclaimer I want to make is that these are simply my opinions about these guns. I purchased them for specific reasons, and I kind of wanted to share some of those reasons with you. And I do have certain preferences with these two guns, and I think I kind of lean a little bit more towards liking one gun versus the other. Not that I don't like either of the two guns. I like them both very well, and I hope if you are perhaps considering purchasing either one of these two, this video might help you out. And even if you're not maybe directly trying to decide between these two particular guns, perhaps maybe I can give you some insight on some of the things I like and dislike about both guns. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, let's go over the basic features of the Smith & Wesson M&P9. Obviously a 9mm handgun. It has a stainless steel upper slide with a polymer lower frame. It has a Picatinny accessory rail, a 3-dot sight, a 17-round magazine with one in the chamber, replaceable ergonomic back straps. There's also a small tool located here in the butt of the grip that allows you to remove the back straps. It also serves as a tool to assist with the breakdown of the gun, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. It has an ambidextrous magazine release catch. Can be switched over to the other side. Also has the ambidextrous slide stop lever. So again, can be accessed from either side if you're a left-handed shooter or a right-handed shooter. Has a small port window on the top to allow you to see into the chamber to see if there's a round loaded. You'll actually see the physical round. It's not like a little indicator or something like that. You actually will see the brass of the round in the chamber if it's loaded. It's 24-ounce unloaded weight. Also features a jointed safety trigger. It's the only safety mechanism on the gun. So there you have it, the Smith & Wesson M&P 9mm. Okay, here we have a closer look at the basic features of the Springfield XDM9. Again, a 9mm handgun. Features a stainless steel upper slide with a polymer lower frame. The stainless steel upper slide on this particular one is polished. This would be what referred to as the bitone. It has a 4.5-inch barrel as opposed to the 4.25 of the Smith & Wesson M&P. Features a Picatinny accessory rail, 3-dot sight. Has two safety features. One, it has a safety lever here in the grip. The other has a safety lever here on the trigger. Replaceable back straps. Has a 19-round magazine with one in the chamber. Features an ambidextrous magazine catch release button. Is actuated from both sides. It's not something that you switch back and forth like the Smith & Wesson. It has two indicators on it. One indicator on the top here to tell you if the chamber is loaded. This little lever here will kind of pop up a little bit if there's a round in the chamber. And the other is a small pin that's located on the back of the gun that will protrude from the gun if the gun is cocked. So if you see here, the pin is sticking out the back, indicating that the gun is currently cocked. If I depress the safeties and fire the weapon, you'll see the pin disappears. You know the gun is no longer cocked. There's a 32-ounce unloaded weight. There you go, the Springfield XDM9. Okay, next I want to go over the first impressions of these two guns. Obviously, when you see these in the gun store, maybe for the first time, you're going to come away with some immediate kind of impressions and conclusions of these two guns. Here were some of mine. Now, I should post a little disclaimer here. I have owned the Smith & Wesson M&P9 longer. I did not purchase these guns at the same time. I purchased the M&P first, owned that for a while, then later purchased the Springfield. I wanted to buy both of these guns all along. I was debating between which gun I would buy. It turned out to be a debate about which gun I would buy first, because I've subsequently obviously have purchased both. But let's go through the first impressions. We'll start out with the 9mm Smith & Wesson M&P. First of all, it feels very good. It's a slightly shorter weapon. It's a bit more top heavy than the Springfield is if you're comparing them side by side. Not that it's top heavy to the point where it's a problem, it just feels a little bit more top heavy than the Springfield does. I actually kind of like that feel of it. But it's very well balanced overall, and it has a nice ergonomic feel to it. These back straps not only change the size of the overall grip, it also has kind of an ergonomic quality to it. Kind of flares out and really helps fill the hand. So it's very comfortable when you have the gun in your hand. It just feels very comfortable to hold, fills your palm really well. The magazine catch-release button is very easy to actuate. It's a very smooth lever, or button I should say. It's very smooth in its travel. You barely even feel where in the travel of the button that the magazine is actually released. It's very smooth and flowing. The trigger is in a very natural position. The finger just naturally falls on it, so that feels real good. It's very easy to, just generally manipulate the gun. There's no problems there. Everything's very ergonomically placed. Everything's nice, and your fingers just kind of fall where they naturally should, which is always a good quality in a gun. So overall, first impression here, very good gun, feels high quality. Next, let's look at the Springfield XDM. Now the first thing you'll notice here is it does have this safety lever on the back of the grip. That's something that you definitely notice right away. But once you hold the gun and put it in your hand and kind of move it around a little bit and get to know it just a little bit, you don't really feel that anymore. It goes away real quick. There's not a lot of pressure it puts back or anything, so that kind of very quickly goes away. Again, the ergonomics here are good. Not great, but good. The trigger finger falls very natural on the trigger. The thumb rests very naturally on the slide stop. Obviously the gun is a little bit longer, 5.5-inch barrel, but it doesn't feel quite as top heavy. It's kind of an odd sensation that if you hold these two guns. I'm going to be double fisting some 9s here. There we go. It's almost strange. This gun's a larger gun, but yet it doesn't feel quite as top heavy as the Smith & Wesson. Again, I don't consider this to be a problem. I actually kind of like that feel of the Smith & Wesson, but it is kind of odd. So, and technically the XDM spec-wise is a heavier gun, slightly heavier. The magazine release is good. I don't like it quite as much as the Smith & Wesson. The main reason why is because it's not that real smooth travel of the button. It's actually kind of abrupt. It kind of gives you some resistance, and then it just kind of breaks away. So you're kind of pushing it, and then boom, it goes. It also doesn't eject, not that this is a big deal, but it doesn't eject the magazine with quite as much force as the Smith & Wesson does. So it feels real good in the hand. The actuation of the gun is very simple, very straightforward. If you've used and fired any gun, this will make all the sense in the world to you. So it feels pretty good. The ergonomics of the gun here and the grip, this is all just hard plastic, whereas the Smith & Wesson has more of almost like a rubberized feel to it. And of course this doesn't have that ergonomic quality to the sides of the gun. It doesn't flare out and fill the hand quite as nicely. And also this harder plastic polymer definitely feels a lot more slick in the hand than the Smith & Wesson does. So overall, first impressions of these two guns, both of them are very good. They both feel very high quality. They both feel good in the hand. They're both nicely balanced. You can tell by holding both of these guns that you can't make a bad choice as far as going with one. But my first impression, because of the ergonomic value going on here and just how the gun felt in the hand, I definitely liked the M&P a little bit better for first impression.